Good afternoon, my people. I am Ogunwale Olasheyi Mayowa, popularly known as Sky Mayor. As I've said in some of my previous videos, you know, as we're heading to another election, and it's starting a new year, I want to use this opportunity to make some points, and I want this message is for youth in particular. You know, seeing our country, the whole world, the shape of the whole things and the trend, I don't think is very good and is best now. But I want to beseech youth in particular. See, we can never do anything while we are in disunity, disengagement. We can never achieve. But if we can be in one fold, unite, and be strong, we can actually pull the whole world, pull down the stronghold. I know if you are thinking as I am now, you actually see things are not working at their best shapes. And I want to seize the opportunity to advise the youth, maybe to talk to youth. I'm not the best way to advise them, but I think we can have a dialogue. We can sit down together and have a common sense, one reasoning, and we can never achieve these aims and objectives if we are not united. But now I'm looking at the way and the avenue by which youths can gather, youths can come together and be as one. But I've not seen, I'm not actually seeing the facts. But there's some things I want I want to pinpoint, letting our youth to critically observe it. See, by the time I come to you, or by the time we are one, you see, we actually enjoy ourselves. We actually, when you are friend and you are seeing that person as you, you know, when there is love, you'll be comfortable, you'll be relaxed. You see, but um, I want to try and pinpoint some points by which we can be as one. You know, there are many platforms, there are many scope, there are many groups, but we are still seeing some inability, some, you know, uproar and hula baloo within each other. But I'm looking at the way by which we can be one religion, one group, one society. But you see, there are some, there are some narratives we met on ground. By the time we are growing up, by the time we become a man, by the time we get matured, there are some narratives by which we need to question them. And all these narratives, they are very much impanded in religion. In our religion, I'm not condemning those religion, but you see, when there is a religion that is, by the way, condemning one another, I don't buy that idea. For example, I'm a Christian. Starting from our creation, starting from the creation of the world, you see, you know, religion, Christian religion is somehow spiritual, and is very, you know, very much embedded in spirit, as a spiritual, is involved in spiritual issue very much. Now, consider that narratives telling me that God is invisible, God is spiritual, I cannot see him, and I actually come from God. Now, my coming to this world, what purpose? After this world, where am I going? They said to God. Where is his throne? Oh, how can I see him? Okay, what are the signs and what is his objectives and aims for me? What is my purpose? You see, although Bible tells us you know, some of these ideas, but there's no fact, and if there is no fact, everyone, will be ascribing anything to that God. You see, in this Christian religion, say, we have so many parastatals and segments. You see, we are calling Orthodox Church, Pentecostal, Kerubu, Sele, everyone have their doctrine by which you cannot condemn them, you cannot query them, because we don't actually see God. But it is what the narrative they give us, that is what we actually follow. But even though the creation, they say we are created from the ground, from the dust, by which dust is a living being. It actually bears fruit. You see, how can God eventually breathe to something that is already breathing? They say woman comes out of man's rib, and looking at woman, they have body parts more than man, more than men. When they are having, when they are having meeting, when men and women are meeting, you see, they are exchanging love. Men gathered so many energy, too much energy, all their strength. They actually deliver to woman. They add up to woman. So, and looking at the head, you see, major most parts on this head, they actually resemble women genital. So I'm actually querying some of these narratives. Although the Old Testament is 40, that's why there is a room for New Testament. But New Testament hasn't give me the real or the raw narratives. You see, and this issue is very paramount to our daily living. If we want to gather together, if we want to be as one, we need to know that we are actually one. We need a new narratives. We need to create a new narratives. See, they say at the door of Babel, that was when our languages were scattered. And looking at our voices is actually not the same. Looking at our thumbprint is actually not the same. Our shape, our steppings, we have diversity in all these things, and it's something that is somewhere written. But to my own research and, striving more to make my country and my world to be actually better, I see, but by the time we study nature, you see, there are some communication, there are some creatures in this, in this nature that they are actually communicating and they are actually describing the settings of the world for us. But if actually youth gather themselves and study these narratives, they can actually achieve some things. I mean, best things. But looking at the religion nowadays, it's actually telling us, giving us some incompleted story or sentences. Although religion and nature are actually telling us some things, but looking at the narratives written, by the time we unravel nature, we see that it's actually giving us the best narratives. Looking at the communication between the sky and the earth, what they are saying, how they are communicating, all the creatures both on the earth and the sky, they actually, you see, when you say our languages is scattered, what was the length and the height of that tower, that aeroplane, and you see, jet doesn't flow or doesn't get to that height nowadays. What was the height? How can you be giving us all these narratives and there is no, you see, when they say we are scattered, we are looking at ourselves and we are actually scattered, that we are not the same. But looking at our voices, it's not the same also. So nature is actually explaining some of these narratives, but we need and ought to get ourselves in order to unravel it. So by the time we get these things right, youth can actually come together, sit down so that we can actually, lay a new narratives for the coming generation. In fact, this generation will actually enjoy us. By the time we sit down together and we try and unravel it, we try and behave that we actually come from one God, one man and a woman. You see, our body parts, it actually resemble the earth, and our soul resemble the sky. See, this sky and the earth, they actually communicating. They are like husband and wife, by which they produce us. But looking at those narratives we met on ground, they actually, you know, putting us, letting us, they don't actually allow us to study these narratives which nature is actually describing. So I want to beseech and employ our youth. See, this religion, Christian, Muslim, traditional, and so on and so forth, they actually say something, but I believe people that has the completing parts of those narratives in the Bible, before they can actually give us the full version, because I'm still expecting it. I know by the time as time goes on, the Old Testament was 40, they provided a new one. Maybe we are going to see a new millennium or a new 21st century Bible, so that they can actually describe or give us the full details of this thing, because it's very paramount to our daily living. And this religion has become our culture, our natural life. So please and please, I'm begging youth these days, we can actually change the world. We can actually troubleshoot this event. But looking at this is somehow impossible, but it's actually possible. So I want to ask youth, get out of these narratives. I'm not saying you should not do your religions. We should not exercise our religion. Let it be personal. I'm not concerned of it. I can be a Christian. It doesn't mean yes. But let's study these settings which nature is giving us. Let's get the settings right. What the rain typify, what thunder typify, what the sun typify, They are actually communicating. They are saying something, and we need to get that settings right. That is when we can move forward. That is when we can achieve better aims. That is when we can see a new world, a new realm. So please and please, my father, my mother, everyone looking at this, looking at me, watching this, please. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but allow youth. Please talk to youth. Youth, talk to yourself. Please, let our religion be personal. Nature is giving us a fantastic narrative, best narrative. But however, getting the settings right, I bet you see, women, men, let's get ourselves together. Let's be one. Let's come together. Let's see ourselves as one body. Let's unite. Let's group ourselves. Let's come out in millions, in billions, in trillions. Let's get things done in a fantastic way, in a civil way. We can achieve our aim. See, I've tried my best, and I'm still trying my best in order to make my nation, the whole world, to be in a civil and a conducive environment, society, to be a good one. And I will see my world, man, it's as peaceful as the, the settings by which the nature has established. So I'm actually beseeching us. See, please and please, youth especially, the coming generation, the coming world, let them get another narratives from us. Let them achieve another narratives. Let them get out of this illusion. We can get out of it. Yes, there is something that is behind these whole narratives. Yes, the whole world, they are not in the best shape. Every country is human being, we have not discovered ourselves. We need to discover each and our purpose in this life, our coming to this life, and afterward. We ought to know how this thing is very crucial and predominant to our living. And nature is explaining it. It has been set. Yes, it has been set. You see, every day they are communicating. The nature, the sky and the earth, they are communicating. They are talking. They are establishing some things. They are, according to the settings. And see, we can never beat nature. We have to get ourselves together and follow its footstep. But talking about religion, it is very spiritual, and there's nothing spiritual that doesn't exist at mankind, at this world, in order to establish it. Because if you say something is spiritual, how did you know? Unless it is established in this world. So I'm actually beseeching us, everything that is spiritual. See, this sky, you cannot unravel it. That is spiritual. I'm talking, something is propelling my speaking. I'm breathing, something is behind it. Those are unravel and spiritual aspects of life. Human being, we are both of the body is for the head, the soul is for the sky. We cannot unravel them, and they're actually communicating, telling us what to do. We just have to follow the footstep. So please and please, youth, come out. Let's be one. Let's be one. Yes, so that our government, our marriage, the individual, we will know our stake. We will know our do and don't. I'm very sorry if I've hurt anyone. It's just that, you see, I'm very passionate and very not very okay with this, with holding these narratives, and having this avenue to talk to you is a privilege. I really appreciate it. So please and please, I'm very sorry if I've hurt you. Thank you so much.